Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to be picking out some books from my TBR jar. So if you don't know, the blue slips of paper in here are ones that I've had from like 2023 and before, give or take a couple months. And the yellow ones are ones that I've gotten this year or at the very end of 2023. So the way that I'm going to do this, because I've attempted to do this quite a few times and I always like freak myself out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out 5 slips of paper and I'm going to hold myself accountable for reading 3 of them. So I can have 2 of them that I'm just not in the mood for, that I don't feel like reading right now, and then I could just put back in the jar for later and just stick with those 3. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try and mix these up. Today my daughter is climbing all over me because she loves this jar and all the slips of paper inside. Alright. So the first one that we are going to choose is a yellow one, so it is a newer one. Now it's A Court of Mist and Fury. Okay, so that's Akatar. I have not started the series yet, so I think I'm just going to re-choose because this isn't the first book. They should all be in here, so I'm just going to re-pick that one. So let's just scratch that one, put it back in the jar, and try again. Alright, so we have another yellow one. Okay, and then we have The Wolf by Leo Carew. So, my husband is reading this one right now. He says it's actually pretty good so far. So, I will try to read this one when he finishes. So, that will be choice number 1. That one is a fantasy, but I don't know really anything else about it. Alright, so we got another new one. Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. I am so excited. I just got this one not too long ago. I've been really curious about trying it for a while. I'm very nervous, but I'm very excited because I just read Bride and I loved it. And I know this is like totally different because it's not vampires and werewolves, it's serial killers, but I'm so excited. So book number 2, I will grab all these at the end as well. So just bear with me. All right, let's choose an older one. Let's go with this one. The Emperor's Ruin by Brian Staveley. Okay, so this one is one that I seem to pull no matter how many times I try to film this. It is an epic fantasy. It's the first book in a series. It's like 750 pages or so. It's very long. And it's very intimidating. So that'll be pick number 3. Guess we just need to get it out of the way, right? Let's pick another older one. Okay, and this is 2312 by Kim Stanley Robinson. This is a sci-fi that it's basically like them inhabiting a new planet and what happens. So that'll be pick number 4. And last but not least, so we have romance, fantasy, and sci-fi so far. Let's go for another new one. See if we can't throw a thriller in here. That is Maybe One Day by Debbie Johnson. This is another romance that I actually don't really know anything about. So let me grab the books and I will show them to you. Okay, so the only one that I don't have on hand right now is The Wolf by Leo Carew. And that is because, like I said, my husband is currently reading it right now. So he took it with him to work. And so it's not here at the house. But I'm not going to be reading that one until he's finished with it. So I guess I'll just show it to you when we get there. But okay, so this is 2312 by Kim Stanley Robinson. It says the year is 2312. Scientific and technological advances have opened gateways to an extraordinary future. Earth is no longer humanity's only home. New habitats have been created throughout the solar system on moons, planets, and in between. But in this year, 2312, a sequence of events will force humanity to confront its past, its present, and its future. So it sounds really interesting. I actually picked this one up years and years and years ago for my husband because he likes all the sci-fi stuff. And I wasn't super into it yet, but I'm really intrigued about it. Every time I read that synopsis, I'm really interested, and that's why I still have it. I haven't unhauled it yet because I still think it sounds interesting. So that's that one. And then, of course, we have Butcher and Blackbird. It says, every serial killer needs a friend. Every game must have a winner. When a chance encounter sparks an unlikely bond between rival murderers Sloane and Rowan, they find something elusive. The friendship of two like-minded, pitch-black souls who just happen to enjoy killing other serial killers. From small-town West Virginia to upscale California, and from downtown Boston to rural Texas, the two hunters collide in an annual game of blood and suffering, one that pits them against the most dangerous monsters in the country. But as their friendship develops into something more, the restless ghosts left in their wake are only a few steps behind, ready to claim more than just their newfound love. So this one sounds like it's going to be so much fun, and I'm so incredibly excited to try this one out, and I really, really hope that I like it. The next chunker that I have is The Empire's Ruin by Brian Staveley. Like I said, this one is really long. It is over 700 pages, and the pages are like Bible page thin. They're so thin. But I got it off a book outlet. It does sound really interesting to me, but it intimidates me. It says, the start of a bold new epic fantasy series by Brian author Staveley set in the world of the Unhewn Throne. The Anarian Empire is disintegrating, the ranks of the Kettrall have been decimated from within, and the Kenta Gates, granting instantaneous travel across the vast lands of the Empire, can no longer be used. In order to save the Empire, one of the surviving Kettrall must voyage beyond the edge of the known world, through a land that warps and poisons all living things to find the nesting ground of the giant warhawks. Meanwhile, a monk turned con artist may hold a secret to the Kenta Gates. But time is running out. Deep within the southern reaches of the Empire, a malevolent force begins to stir. What emerges will change the Anarian Empire forever. So it sounds really, really good. The monk turned con man, it kind of makes me think of Lies of Locke Lamora, so that part intrigues me. And like I said, it sounds really interesting, but it's intimidating. So I will try to read this one. And then last but not least that I have on hand is Maybe One Day by Debbie Johnson. It says, the truth changes everything. For years, Jess believed that Joe, the father of her child and the only man she ever loved, had abandoned her during her time of her greatest need. The belief nearly destroyed her. 17 years later, while cleaning out her mother's house, Jess unpacks a box of cards and letters hidden in the attic and makes a discovery that transforms everything about her life as she knows it. Shaken but empowered, Jess, with her two stalwart best friends, embarks on a remarkable journey to follow a set of faded postmarks around the world. Is Joe still alive? Does he know that Jess never forgot him? Maybe their love story isn't over yet. Maybe one day they'll find each other again. So that sounds really cute. Sounds kind of like Letters to Juliet almost. And I don't know, it just sounds really interesting. And when I found out that it's the father of her child, like when I read that part, it had me really interested, and that's why I picked it up. I got it from the Little Free Library. So overall, I'm not going to put any specific time on these books. I'm just going to start reading one today and vlogging it as I go and just try and read as many as I can. But I am going to cut myself off by the end of August. Hopefully I'll read them all before then. But that's going to be my cutoff point, is by the end of August I want to have this video posted before my September TBR. So that's going to kind of give me a little bit of a time restraint, but I'm not going to have anything specific for it. So these are 4 out of the 5 books that I will be reading for this vlog, or attempting to read. Like I said, I'm giving myself the freedom to scrap 2 of them and save those for later. So I'm most likely going to start with Butcher and Blackbird, or maybe One Day, because the romances usually go really quick for me. But I don't know. We'll see kind of how things go, and I don't know. I'm kind of getting back into a fantasy mood, so maybe I'll try The Empire's Ruin. Who knows? But I will check back in with you once I have started one of these books, and I will give you my initial thoughts then, and we can follow along and see how I do with trying to narrow down some of my physical TBR. guys. So it is Friday evening on July 19th. Same day that I drew my 5 books from my TBR jar. And I didn't want to wait. I started Butcher and Blackbird, and I'm up to 100 pages into this book. I love that it is from both the perspective of Sloane as well as Rowan. I'm having such a great time with this book. It's so fun and it's so cute that he's like totally into her right from the beginning and wants to get to know her. And he doesn't really know how to do it. And they meet in a really unconventional way, as serial killers would. And I don't know, I just think it's really cute. I think it's really cute and it's really fun. And I'm just having a grand old time with it. I have already tabbed a few things that have made me crack up. I don't know if you can even see those in there. But I've tabbed a few things in here that just cracked me up. And so yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. Like I said, I've read 100 pages just this afternoon since I pulled it out, this title out of that jar. So I was really excited to start it. And like, I was super nervous to buy this book because I'm new to romance, and then going as far as picking up a serial killer romance that has trigger warnings for accidental cannibalism at the beginning. Like, I was really nervous about this one. I didn't know if I would like it, but so far I'm absolutely loving it. I'm having a great time with this. And I'm just, the beginning of this book is the same kind of thing like with Bride, that I was just felt like a little kid kicking my feet and just enjoying my time. So I'm going to keep reading this tonight, and I don't know how much I'm going to check back in tomorrow because it is going to be a crazy busy week with my birthday next week and everything else. So I will check back in with you when I get a little bit further into this one. But yeah, so far I'm having a great time with this. And good morning, guys. So I apologize, but I haven't updated at all this weekend. It's been busy. We went to the county fair on Saturday, and then on Sunday we went swimming, and we just hung out this weekend and did some fun summery stuff. So I have been reading Butcher and Blackbird on and off all weekend, and I finished it last night. This was 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I ate it up. I didn't mind the sex in it. I enjoyed the romance in it. I thought the relationship was really cute, and the bonus chapter, I loved it, all of it. So I texted my sister last night because this isn't one that like my mom would read or my husband would read or whatever, and because my husband doesn't do romance, and this is a little bit more spicy than what my mom would read. And so I was texting my sister about it, and I told her that I absolutely loved it and that I think she would like it. And I told her that I think this one is right up there with my top books of the year. Like, The Unmaking of June Farrow was amazing and I absolutely loved it, and I still stand by that being my top book of the year so far. This one I think is right there at number 2 because I absolutely love this. I ate it up, and I really want to go and buy the second book, Leather and Lark, right now. I want to, but my birthday is on Friday, so I'm gonna hold off, and hopefully my husband will know that I want this book, the next book, and so he'll get it for me. So I'm gonna hold off for right now, but after Friday I will definitely be buying book 2. And so yeah, this is following Sloane and Rowan, who are both serial killers that kill other serial killers as a hobby. And they meet just kind of randomly when they were going after the same person, and he instantly he wants to spend time with her and be around her more. And so he comes up with this game that they meet up once a year to his brother chooses a target, and then they both go after that, or they both have to figure out who that target is and kill them. And it's a game between the two of them to see who can kill their target first. So that's how they come together once a year is to play this game, and it turns into them texting, video calls, and just keeping in touch as well throughout the year preceding their game and after their game. That's how they end up keeping in touch. And as they're doing this, they build a friendship and they build a relationship with each other. He obviously has feelings for her. She is more of a loner and an introvert, so she doesn't really see it right away, but they build this relationship together and they become really great friends, and then they start a relationship. I loved this so much. I thought it was done really, really well. I thought the writing was fantastic. I was cracking up at different parts of this book. I told my husband, because at the very beginning they have a content and trigger warning page and a half. And one of the things in here, it says accidental cannibalism. And it's like, oh, okay. But then the dedication of this book, it says, for those of you who read the trigger warnings and said accidental cannibalism, count me in. This one's for you. That instantly had my attention. Like, it cracked me up when I read that. And then I don't know, it was such a great time. I went into this and I was really nervous about reading this one because I didn't know if I would like it, because I thought that it was going to be just a little bit more spicy than what I normally read, and I didn't know if I would get into it, and I did. I did. I had such a great time with this. Like I said, I'm so excited to pick up the next book and continue reading. The next book follows Rowan's brother, Lachlan, and Sloane's best friend, Lark, and it follows their story. And so I'm very excited to pick that one up, because in this book it says that they said that they're pretty sure that they hooked up, but then they're like, well, wait, don't they hate each other? So I'm really excited to try that one out. And the third book, I believe, comes out the end of November. So I will most likely be picking that one up as well, with how much I enjoyed this. So moving on, like I said, 5 stars, obviously. Moving on, the same time that I finished Butcher and Blackbird, my husband actually finished The Wolf by Leo Carew. So this is the other one that I pulled from the jar that I can read. He said it was pretty good. He wants me to get the rest of the series. He said that it kind of had abrupt point of view changes, so that got kind of hard to follow, but he said it was really good otherwise. And so I'm really excited to try this one. I also have Maybe One Day, 2312, and The Empire's Ruin to read, or to try to read. Like I said, I gave myself the option of reading 3, and then I can just save 2 for later. So I think what I'm going to do, because I don't know if I want to jump into another romance after that one, because I feel like this one is going to be a little bit of a letdown, but I haven't decided yet. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first couple chapters in each one. And what I've done with this before is, in the past, I'll read the first chapter in each book, and then I'll read the second chapter in each book, and I'll kind of weed them out that way and decide which one is the one that I really want to stick with. Now, if I find one that I want to stick with right away, then obviously I'm going to continue that book. But I think that's what I'm going to do for this, because I don't really know what kind of mood I'm in, whether it's fantasy, sci-fi, or romance, or if none of these really tick that bill right now. So I'm going to try and do that and just kind of see where it takes me. So today is Monday the 22nd. Yeah, the 22nd. And I have all day that I can read. I need to obviously do some things here at the house today as well. But overall, my main thing is that I could just hang out and read today and spend some time with my kids. And hopefully it'll give me a chance to kind of jump into one of these and get a good start on one. Like I said, my birthday is on Friday, so I'm going to be just trying to make some room on my shelves, because I do have a book outlet order that should be coming here in the next few days. And so yeah, I will kind of start chapters, and I will check back in with you once I've decided what I want to read. Okay guys, so it is now almost 12:30, and I said I was going to start with reading like the first chapter of each of the books that I have left and kind of going from there to see what I want to read. However, I have started Maybe One Day by Debbie Johnson. This was it's a romance, I believed, or it's supposed to be a romance, and basically they had a daughter together. The guy and the girl had a daughter together. Her name is Jess, his name is Joe, and they had a daughter together. They got together when they were really young. They met in school, had a baby when she was 18, and then Jess believed that he had left them and not looked back. So Jess's mom, it's 15 years later, Jess's mom has passed away, and after the funeral she goes back to her mom's house and is going to start going through some things in the attic with her cousin, and she finds an old shoebox with a bunch of cards in it that are for the daughter that she had. But something has happened at some point to the daughter, and the daughter has passed away. And we don't know what happened yet, and all we know is that supposedly Joe was sending birthday cards to the daughter Gracie the entire time, and she didn't know it. So she believes that her mom and dad have been lying to her the entire time after what happened. She had some kind of a mental breakdown afterwards, and I mean, understandably so. And that's really all we know. So I am up to 74 pages into this book, and it's at this point there's flashbacks between or change of tense, that it's like what's going on right now when they found the box with all the cards and stuff, and what happened when she was 18 in 1999, and then this next one is going to be the 2003, so that summer. So far the writing is fine in this book, but I am very, very, very bored. I don't feel any kind of a connection with Jess. I don't feel any kind of a connection with her cousin. And I don't know, I'm just really bored with it. And I don't really want to keep reading it. Like, I know the whole thing is going to be like her looking back on a really hard time and kind of coping with that and trying not to have like anxiety attacks and stuff, like panic attacks and stuff, and potentially going to try and find Joe and like rebuild their life together potentially. Okay, sorry about that. We had a little crisis here at the house. Anyways, what I was saying, Maybe One Day, it might end up being a really sweet, really good book. It does say a laugh cry book from the first page to the last, so it might be a great one, but I just don't like it so far. I'm so bored with it, and I'm just not in the mood for it, and I don't know with how this first 75 pages has gone if it's going to be something that I would change my mind about. So I think I'm going to DNF this one and just move on. I got this one from a little free library. I can take it back to a little free library and maybe somebody else will enjoy it, but it's not what I'm looking for. I want something fun that's going to catch me from the very first page in a romance, not one like this that's dealing with a lot of grief and loss and stuff like that. I want fun. This isn't what I'm looking for, so I think I'm going to DNF this and move on. So I do still have 2312, The Empire's Ruin, and The Wolf to choose from, so I think I'm going to start reading one of those and go from there. So technically this is book number 2 that I have read, sort of, in this vlog. So I do have those 3. I'm going to try them out and I will go from there. Okay guys, so it's a little bit later and I tried to start 2312. However, I don't like the way that it's written already. I started the prologue and it feels very technical and just not something that's gonna, it's something that is gonna push me away from it rather than draw me in. With how technical it is, it says the sun is always just about to rise. Mercury rotates so slowly that you can walk fast enough over its rocky surface to stay ahead of the dawn, and so many people do. Many have made this a way of life. They walk roughly westward, staying always ahead of the stupendous day. Some of them hurry from location to location, pausing to look in cracks they earlier inoculated with bioleaching metallophytes, quickly scraping free any accumulated residues of gold or tungsten or uranium, but most of them are out there to catch glimpses of the sun. So that's the very first paragraph in this, very technical. I just don't know. I might come back to it, maybe. There was one page that I opened up to, and I'm trying to find it now. I don't know, I can't find it right now, but I might try and read a little bit more of this later, but I even thought this might have been like the next book in a series. I might try and read a little bit more of this, but I think I might try and start Empire's Ruin just to see how that goes. This should be, I believe, the first in the series, and if it's not, then we have an issue because I don't have any of the other books. But I don't know, I'm not entirely sure what I'm in the mood for read. So I have a few to pick from, but I'm kind of burning out quickly because none of them really sound all that great. So either way, I've read Butcher and Blackbird and I loved it. I tried to read maybe one day and I stopped at 75 pages. And now I just have to try and hunker down and pick one. I've had a really, really wonky day, so that might be part of why I'm having a hard time starting a new one. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time. Hopefully, I'm working on getting my TBR picked out, and hopefully I will be able to pick up one of these and get going with it and hopefully start enjoying my time. I haven't tried the Wolf at all yet. I know that one's probably going to be alright because my husband just finished it, but these other ones I'm not sure. 2312, like I said, I've had this one on my TBR for years, and I just never have gotten into it, so I'm kind of starting to wonder if maybe I should just cut my losses and just unhaul it, because I feel like it's going to be really, really slow, like sci-fi one. But I don't know, those are my thoughts right now. I haven't really started anything, obviously, because everything kind of has gone haywire this afternoon, and now the day is most of the way gone. So, yeah, I guess I will update you when I actually have some coherent thoughts. Okay, yeah, so I tried to read some more of this just now, and literally, page 2, it says, before that, one last look at sunrise on Mercury. In the ultraviolet, it's a perpetual blue snarl of hot and hotter. With the disk of the photosphere blacked out, the fantastic dance of the corona becomes clearer. All the magnetized arcs and short circuits, the masses of burning hydrogen pitched out at the night. Alternatively, you can block the corona and look only at the sun's photosphere and even magnify your view of it until the burning tops of the convection cells are revealed in their squiggling thousands, each a thunderhead of fire burning furiously, all together torching 5 million tons of hydrogen a second, at which rate the star will burn another 4 billion years. All these long spicules of flame dance in circular patterns around the little black circles that are the sun's spots, shifting whirlpools in the storms of burning. Masses of spicules flow together like kelp beds threshed by a tide. There are non-biological explanations for all this convoluted motion, different gases moving at different speeds, magnetic fields flexing constantly, shaping the endless whirlpools of fire. All mere physics, nothing more, but in fact, it looks alive, more alive than many a living thing. Looking at in the apocalypse of the mercurial dawn, it's impossible to believe it's not alive. It roars in your ears. It speaks to you. So I feel like it could potentially be really great writing, but that was like mostly gibberish to me. So I don't want to keep reading it. I'm not going to keep reading it. I think I'm going to pass on this one, and I'm going to move on to the next book. So unfortunately, this one is another one that I'm going to just pass on. I don't think I'm going to get into it if it's all going to consistently be that technical. I think it's going to go over my head way too much. So it's unfortunate and it sucks, but I don't want to try to read it for like 200 pages because this is a big book. This book is 561 pages, so I don't want to read 200 pages of it and have no clue what the heck is going on, because that's not fun. So I'm going to put this one down, and that will leave us with The Wolf and The Empire's Ruin. Sorry, the lighting isn't great. It's super hot outside right now. But so now I've got 2 fantasies left. I've got The Wolf and I have The Empire's Ruin. I want to try this one just so that way I quit pulling it out of the darn jar, because every time I try and pick something out of the jar, it always seems to be this one. So I would at least want to kind of try it. But I know that The Wolf is probably going to be one that I'm going to like, since my husband liked it. And like I said, I'm going to be buying the rest of the series here pretty soon. So I'm going to read a couple of chapters of each of these, see where it takes me. Okay guys, so it's been about 2 minutes. With this one, I found out that it is actually like a spin-off series or a continuation series on another one by this author. When I looked it up on Goodreads, it says, here, I've got it. It's not going to work right. The Empire's Ruin, it says, is the Chronicle of the Unhewn Throne, number 5. Ashes of the Unhewn Throne, number 1. So it's basically like a continuation in a series, which means that I won't be reading this book, because I have no clue what this world is, and I don't want to jump into the middle of the story in the ashes. I want to jump in at the beginning. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to unhaul this. I might, honestly, I think I'm going to unhaul it, just because I don't know if or when I'll get the rest of the series. So at least for the time being, I don't want to keep it on my shelves, just in the fact that maybe someday I might get the rest of the series. So I have another one that I'm going to be unhauling. So that's 3 out of the 5 that I will be unhauling. One that I read and loved. And I guess that means that I will be reading The Wolf. So this video is going much quicker than I thought it would, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it definitely isn't how I thought it was going to go. But I guess I will be starting this afternoon, and I guess reading it right after my husband finished it. So we will be reading the series kind of together in a way. So I'll start this and I will check back in with you later. Hey guys, so I read the first few pages of The Wolf, and I decided that I'm not really in the mood to start this right now. I have a handful of series going right now, and I'm just not really in the mood to jump into another fantasy series. So I am going to hold off on reading this one. So I will keep the slip in the jar, or the piece of paper in the jar, and come back to it. But I'm going to wrap this vlog up here. And so these are the books that I have attempted to read in this vlog. I read Butcher and Blackbird, which I gave 5 stars, and I absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to get the next book. I am going to wait on The Wolf by Leo Carew, which is an epic fantasy. I DNF'd maybe one day at 75 pages because it just sounded like, from what I read, that it was going to be just a really difficult read, and wasn't the happy, fun romance that I was looking for. Sorry for the lighting, the sun is coming up. I am not going to read 2312 because it was just too technical of a sci-fi for me, and I just felt like it was all gibberish. So I just didn't want to get 200 pages into it and not have any idea what was happening. And then, last but not least, The Empire's Ruin. I'm also not going to read this one because it's an interconnected part of a series, and I've never read anything by this author before, and I don't want to start in the middle of an ongoing series, whether it's its own standalone or not. I just don't want to do that. So I'm not going to read this one either. So that is 4 out of the 5 books that I actually tried and attempted to read, or got to them. And so I found a new favorite for the year, or top favorite for the year, and I am going to be holding on to this one to read later. But these 3 I will be unhauling, so that's pretty good. My first attempt to actually do my TBR jar reading, sorry, the sun, reading this way, and it's been a pretty good success, I think. And so I'm very excited to continue. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Please leave comments down below if you've read these, liked these. What were your thoughts on Butcher and Blackbird? Because I know that one has been one that I've heard really mixed things about. I know some people love it and some people don't. So please like and subscribe, comment down below with your thoughts on these books. If you want me to save any of these and give them a try, if you think that they're worth it, please let me know, because I'm not going to be unhauling them just yet. But anyways, I will catch you in the next one. Bye.